Okay. What happens after the launch now?
So after the launch,
And the launch is what month?
So now that's the thing. I'm not really sure whether it was in August.
Okay. But what year? 2004.
Same year.
Okay.
Same year. So I think after that now it was just, performances here and there. And then I think this is when we had Bishop Agreketeke, that guy, with his church at 680, who sort of now I think was, what do they say? The straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
So this bishop came to Kenya and started the church at 680, and it was for rehabilitating prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I hear, he had rented about 3 houses in Runda, and one house is where the girls stayed, and the other was his. And then I don't know what happened in the other house. The girls were being taught how to speak English and how to model and just that kind of stuff. I don't know why that's the only stuff you would teach, people. So you take them to school if you want to take them to school or something. Anyway, so this bishop had given quite a few shows to very many Kenyan celebrities. Very many people performed at his church at 680. You perform with a band, and he pays really good money. So he had reached out, and I'm sure he had reached out to Homeboys, obviously, because that's how we got the gig. And we did perform at 680. But then after that...
As Sema now.
As Sema. After that, he started being that guy for wanting to take the group, like buying us out of the contract with Homeboys.
What?
Yes. Now that's where the drama began. Me and authority are like this. Okay? What happened is we got wind of information that we had been allowed by Homeboys to go get visas, to go apply for visas. I remember this day very vividly because we were at Homeboys and we were taken by the Homeboys car, and we went and we applied and we went back to Homeboys, and that's when we're getting there. And I think it was Mike and John who were very upset, and they were like, who gave you the permission to do that?
Visas for where? State or now?
Netherlands.
Netherlands, okay.
So now I might have an idea of, in my recollection, of who it was who took us, but I don't want to cause any feuds or whatever, so I'm not going to say who that was. Basically, Homeboys were not for that. Okay, they were not for that idea of us going to the Netherlands and Ati, this guy is buying us out and stuff like that. So they sent a letter. I'm telling you, it was high school. They sent a letter to our parents. And they said they will not be responsible for anything that happens to us on that trip.
Okay, rewind selector. Let's slow this thing down. I've never heard this story. So
I've said it so many times.
As you can see, my research lalad.
It's not your research. It's what people focus on.
Okay, and I like that. So there's a guy who tries to. Like the way guys sings, gives you guys a show. After he gives that show, were Homeboys in the know? Or who got paid?
Homeboys were in the know for that show.
So Homeboys are the ones who got the payment on your behalf?
Yes. They were getting all the payment on our behalf.
Yeah, because you're being artists.
Yes, they are our managers.
So you guys, they were in the know for that show.
Yes.
You as Sana, did you get into a conversational relationship with this guy?
Now, let me continue.
Uh-huh.
So, tumeenda tumerudi, John and Mike are very upset. So then at that point, this guy calls me. Direct. See, obviously you guys have met before. Why would you refuse to give your number? So he calls me and he says he'd like to have a meeting with me. Being young is something else. So I agree. He sends a car. Yani nilingia paka kwa gari hata sijui. Mimi ni mjinga. So he sends a driver. I get into the car. Takes me all the way to Runda. I meet his wife, met his kids in their house, and we sat and we talked, and he said he's interested in me. He was just buying out the group so that he can split and get me.
Guy.
So me, I'm sat there just, my expressionless, that one for the green my I'm just like, tukamaliza your meeting. So I told him, this is something I'll have to consult, because obviously you know that I'm signed to Homeboys. And he said, what is contract? We buy out. Like, this guy doesn't know me. Mimi nikieka signature mahali, I don't joke, okay? So anyway, just to end that conversation, I told him, okay, so I'll get back to you. So then he's like, where you go? I said, I'm going home. Where's home? So I said, all the way uko pande za Ngong. And he's like, driver, he take you. I said, okay. Free ride, man. I'm not javing. Because you guys now you're thinking, Runda.
I know.
Where am I going? You know, I don't,
This is back in the day.
To date, I would not know which jab I'm taking from Runda. Where am I going? Okay, fine. No, obviously you take a jab that takes you to town. And then from there you figure it out. But at that time, I've never ventured into the Rundas, the Mudaigas in a jab, you know? So anyway, so he gives me driver. I say, cheers. He takes me. So I sit with my parents. And I narrate everything this guy told me, that he wants to buy out Sema, but it's me he's interested in. He wants to make my career big. My parents were skeptical from the very beginning. And then on top of that now, the letter from Homeboys that came after, that's when they said, absolutely not. You will not go on this trip, because if Homeboys have pulled out and they're supposed to be your managers, Mami, I don't think this is a good idea. Bas, me, that story died there. Me, siendi mahali. Me, I'm not sending anything. So now, it now became an issue in the group, because at this time, if Homeboys have removed themselves, then even kina Pama, like then, we can go as individuals. It has nothing to do with Homeboys or whatever. So there were a lot of phone calls, a lot of exchange between myself and them. They were just like, oh, but this guy, you know, he's going to pay us so much money for this gig, And I was like, guys, I cannot go if my parents don't consent. I cannot. And I'm not interested, because why would you want to buy us out of this group? So there was a lot of back and forth. And then now, eventually, we had the meeting with Homeboys. And our parents, like little high school students, sitting there. So now, before we went for this meeting, I had a couple of things I needed to tell my daddy. So, guy was terrified. So, my dad was in the car reading his newspaper. My mom is in the house, Uko. And I'm just like, now who do I tell first?
So Homeboys are the ones who've called for this meeting?
Yes, Homeboys have called for this meeting, yeah. Just so that they can make things clear to our parents, so that our parents don't think that it is them cooling us. Because there had been accusations of, where is all our money? Mimi, mambo ya balance sheet, sijui. I mean, I don't know those things. Kina Pam were the ones who are saying that.
How are you feeling at this time? I'm feeling like there's two groups. From your conversation, honestly,
Yeah.
there's
a divide already.
I'm feeling like there's I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. I feel like did you have an issue with Chums? I feel like first and foremost in Sema there was Pam and Kev, and then there's you.
I will be honest.
And you, part of your code is your folks.
Yes, I feel in my situation, I think there was a bit of ignorance on my part. Ignorance that I didn't make the extra effort to understand how the monies were being dealt with. I didn't make that effort, and I feel Pam and Kevin kind of did, because I don't think they would. It's not an easy or a light accusation to make.
Yeah.
It had to be coming from somewhere.
Okay.
We never got to the bottom of that, because I can't sit here and say Homeboys definitely cheated us out of our money, and I can't sit here and say Pam and Kevin were definitely right. I can't. I was ignorant. I did not make the effort, and I will take that. I'm to blame.
Okay.
So
your dad is uko seated ndani ya gari akisoma newspaper.
Sasa mimi sana niko hapo nimetetemeka yangu yote. I don't know which one of my parents to tell. But since it is Mr. Tande who's coming for this meeting, I think he would be the better one to tell, because it might be used by Pam and Kevin against me.
I see what's coming.
You see what's coming. But I don't want to get into the detail of that, because it's been years now. People have moved on, etc. It was basically a relationship that had started, and it was being used as the reason why maybe they felt like they were being sidelined. Yeah. Anyway, so I went into the car and I told my dad. You know, he listened. Okay. I'm like, okay. Sawa. That was it. That's all he said. Of course, I think he was a bit angry. But, you know, he not that he saved it for later, but he was like, we've had the conversation. You've stated, I've understood, let's move on. So we left and went to Homeboys. And all our parents were there. My mom was unable to make it, but Pam and Kevin's parents were there. Pam's both parents. And then there was Mike, there was John, and I think Musiox was also in that. And I think RK, I'm not too sure. Yeah.
But but John and Mike Rabba in the room.
Were in the room. And so the meeting started and people talked. Sauti zikapanda, zingine zikashuka. Watu wengine walikuwa wameangalia tu chini. Wanasikiza. Wazazi wengine hawakuongea. Wazazi wengine wakasema kama tunaofaiwa pesa zaidi kwa nini tusiende? There was a serious divide. Even amongst some parents. One was for why not if they are being offered more money, and the other half would be but they have a signed contract. You know, so there was a lot of there was a serious divide there. So yeah, tukamaliza meeting, we got up and we left, and I remember Pam's mother is the one who went to my dad and asked, Mr. Tande, you have not said anything. He said, because me and my daughter have spoken. And it ended there.
Your dad didn't say anything?
Ikaisha hivyo. And I think it was decided from that moment that we're on our own.
So walking out of that room, you knew
that was it.
This thing ends.
They just said no more. Like it cannot continue the way that it is.
You know, minus the money conversation. I don't know what Homeboys did with the money.
No, I mean, we were getting paid. Let's not get it wrong.
Yeah, no. What I mean is, I have no factual information. The same way you are saying.
Yes.
I fully understand why. I fully understand as Homeboys, you guys have a signed contract.
Yeah.
This is a conversation about disobeying what you have signed for.
Yes.
Because
So now, it was about disobeying until now those other things were brought up. Oh, you know, we don't know how our monies are being spent. Oh, you know, some people are being favored here. Oh, you know, so it just grew into a mountain. And I think that's when Homeboys sort of, because I think this was the first time they'd signed anybody. So it's new territory for them. And this is how it's going. Wachaikai. They have so many other businesses they could be concentrating on than dealing with a bunch of children who have started making money and their heads have gone like this, you know? Yeah. Naikaisha hivyo. So here we are. There's a trip to Netherlands.
Oh, what my God, the story continues.
Yes, what are we going to do?